We back this time with full auto Tiger of the Three Beasts. And it's a new boss, which doesn't look like a tiger. I'm not really sure what it looks like, to be honest. And I'm just filled with many questions, like, what are the three beasts if they're sending a tiger at us? Why does this boss remind me of Orochi? Why do we have to always have backline hate? The minimum score to get to is 18k, and we will do our best to reach that. I've got two sets to show, a budget team made up of farmable units, banner units, and units available through player selectors, and an invested team for those with more resources. You can find the squad codes in the description below, so let me show you what I got. So we're going to go ahead and start off with the Linjian into Ahilde and Chinatsu. That'll give us some buffs here to work with, so that we have a better chance of surviving this boss. And as funny as this boss is, it's really annoying to have that backline being hit all the damn time. Every 6 seconds. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but man, it's kind of disturbing. So we're going to go ahead and use Sigma here. She'll drop a tower, which the boss is actually going to start using that knock-up attack on, as you can see there, which really helps with our backline being able to not only survive a bit better, but they won't be getting interrupted as much. Now, unfortunately, we are using Sigma in this fight. Eve can work instead, so if you have either or, even Jacko would be okay if you have a Jacko. Other than that, I tried with Titan, and I tried with Amina just dies. Amina, unfortunately, just gets in front of Ahilde and absolutely it's demolished, and it's sad. But unfortunately, because this boss having a giant hitbox, Amina special pushes itself into the middle, and it just ends up being awful. We go with the minimum score here. You can sit there and cut back on some mods just to sit there and get, you know, closer to 18. 19k is pretty good. Alright, for the budget team, we are going with New Detroit as the ship, Hana as the operator. You do see Sigma on the team. That can be replaced with Eve, and the outcome will be the same. For gear, we're going with tanky CDR for Lin Jian. Need her to be able to survive. For Ahilde, any CDR gear will work here. The more skill haste, the better. For Chinatsu, we want tanky CDR. And then for Sigma, we want anything that gives anti-ground or anti-ranger damage. Set's not too important here. Any of the sets will work. Chifu, I went with the A-Speed tank set. She gets pretty close to dying sometimes, so I just went with as much anti-ground res as I could, but we want her to death break, so we gave her attack speed. For Sky, attack speed CDR would be better, but we're just going to go ahead with a tanky CDR set. The ultimate's what's important, but we do want her to keep her buff up as much as possible. Soyun has trouble living, so we just gave her a full tank set. I'd rather keep her alive so she can actually sit here and get her specials off, but a tanky CDR set would work here as well. And then for Yang, we're just going with tank CDR. So we're gonna steal a bit from the budget comp if you watch that. And again, we're gonna start off with Linjian, Ahilde, and Chinatsu. Unfortunately, there's not much of a better frontline on auto than Ahilde that can actually survive this boss, and Linjian won't run in front of him and get herself murdered. Especially on expert, this boss hits a lot harder. It's got more skill haste, so it ults more often. And Swan is just getting knocked around. Holy... Anyways. Swan's going to be able to get her specials off. We get her out this early because all that knocking up and her slow walk to the front causes her to not really get a special off that soon, so nothing really lines up well. So we're going to go for the second ult to line up. is for the most part the goal. Plus we want to get 90% def break during the burst phase at the minimum. And of course we're using Sigma here again for the tower so that our backline stops getting knocked around. Ahilde's, or not Ahilde, but Gia is going to come out to help the survivability because Ahilde gets super low. And then we're going to have Eve because she's going to do some massive damage here. Now, there are a lot of options other than Spencer. You can use Dorothy and Amelia even. But I find it absolutely hilarious that my Spencer comes out right when the boss is ulting, so she gets sucked to the middle so that she can sit here and special instead of having to run up and then special. It just kind of works out. And if you get lucky and you high roll Spencer special, you can actually get a bit more def break on the boss and a bit more damage as well. But we're going to get a nice little Sigma ulti here, little Kamehameha, and just finish off the boss with a few more attacks. And we get ourselves a nice little 43k score. And Sigma doing the top damage here. For the invested team, we are running New Detroit as a ship, Sysop as the operator. For gear, we have Lin Jian on tanky CDR. I do suggest the inhib hands for her. For Hilde, you could just go a Mage CDR set or just give her as much CDR as you can. Janatsu, we want tanky CDR, as much skill haste and as much anti-ground res as possible. For Swan, same thing, but we don't need in hands for her, so we can go as much skill haste and anti-ground res as we can fit. For Sigma, we want to go as much damage, so we want anti-ground lines or anti-ranger damage. For Sinjia, we do want her to be on tanky CDR, so as much anti-ground res and skill haste. For Eve, we want as much anti-ranger damage and anti-ground damage as possible. And then for Spencer, we just need her tanky. She's only going to get one special off. Tanky CDR works just fine, so anti-ground res and skill haste. Thanks everyone for watching. If you made it this far, I really hope this helps you get the minimum score this season. Fortunately, the manual run looks to be much easier than the auto, so if you're into that, look forward to my next video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're feeling extra special, you can join the Mages by clicking the join button. You can catch me on Discord, link is in the description, and if you want to help support this channel, there's a link in the description for that too. As always, I will see you all next time.